Then there is the other one that is depicted in the story, right? The R in the story. Do you understand? Is the first R, then the R in fire, which is the second R, then the R in water. So you have like the story, the fire, the water, and that was how the story was told. Like ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, okay, this is one thing I like about Asian movies, is that everybody can watch it. It's a family-friendly movie. Okay, except of course maybe when it gets to the gore part of it, because that happens at times where there is violence, right? But you can be sure that your child is not going to be sexually harassed or embarrassed or indoctrinated in that story. That's for sure. When it comes to the violence part, I mean, you may have to, like, don't worry, if your child can't handle it, they'll just hide their eyes anyway. So yeah, that's about it. I like the review of these guys on YouTube. Well, this gentleman on YouTube, Cinema Therapy, I think that's what they call their channel. I've been watching reviews for a while now, like for almost like a week straight. I've just been watching reviews, like reactions rather, like movie reaction of RRR, and it has been amazing. The kind of reactions, you get the ones that are excited about the man, you get the ones which, yeah, I mean, then you get the ones who are excited about the story, then you get the ones that are excited about the fighting, and then you get the ones that are excited about the emotional side of it. Everyone got emotional. I don't think there's anyone who didn't get emotional, because, I mean, we got to see the story, the fire, the water, and it was kind of interesting. The story, you can say, is like the prologue, or not. That is not even the prologue. I think that's just like what propelled the story forward. Like, there was the prologue, the background story, but there is also like the catalyst, if you may, that sort of torpedoed everything. But the fire and the water found a way. I mean, usually fire and water, they are not friends, they're not friends. They have fire, water quenches fire, right? And but they showed us that it's not impossible for fire and water to actually be friends. They would of course clash at some point, but at the end of the day, they would find a common ground where they can both become a force, because they are both forces of nature, and they can work for or against, depending on who knows these elements and knows how to navigate themselves through those elements, right? And it was shown in the story where both of them, without knowing each other, well, I guess they are elements connected in a way, and so they sort of, without knowing each other as persons, but I guess they're, like I said, they're elements connected. There was an issue of a fire accident over a water, and a little boy was trapped, a boy that naturally he would not drown because he's a fisher boy, but he could get burned on that water. It was that serious. Interesting. Like the how wow. I mean, you look at that story and there's a lot to flesh out, because then in the when both of them met, like when they had to go and rescue a boy, you can see where water and fire met. Not the two men now, but the elements itself, the fire, that fell with fuel actually on the water, and the fire is burning on that water. You would expect that the large body of water will swallow that fire, but it didn't happen that way. You understand what I'm saying? The fire was burning, the water is on its own, and somebody is about to get roasted, like really roasted on that. And so it was like you could be in water literally and get burnt. You get? Like, there is no guarantee that the water will save you from the fire, if you get my drift. So it just shows how the fire can be on its own if it has the fuel to back it up and be burning, while the water may not be able to quench it and the water is just on its own. Like that was what really happened there. Like, so if you're going to analyze that was that. But for me, like, the cinematography guys, I keep saying guys, they're not guys, they're men. The cinematography men said on YouTube, you can check them out you can check out their review. It was really interesting because one of them is a cinematographer, the other person is a therapist. So you can see how that is even beautiful in terms of when you watch reactions like that, you're able to learn lessons. You get to see the movie was this, you can get to hear the how would I call it, the art of the story, but the therapist will give you the lessons, the life lessons from the story. So I love that combination. I'm glad I found them, and I hope that they do more reviews or reactions as it were to movies, especially the ones that I really like, because I like the way they went into the stories and really delved into them, especially the therapist. It was really nice to hear, because most of the time what you hear is movie review, movie reaction, and those are beautiful, right? It gives you a feeling of being in a theater, or rather a cinema, as a cinema theater, without actually being there. You get to see how people react and feel the vibe and all of that. It's quite interesting, and I was speaking of the cinema. Some people had videos, short clips of how it went down in the cinemas when RRR was on this big screen, and it was like, how people cheer in the football pitch, yeah, that was it. It was like a party. Everybody was screaming, cheering, clapping. Like, Tollywood would do that to you. Like, the Telugu movie industry would do that for you. Like, the action, the emotions, they always kind of mix it together a lot. Of course, they always lean more. If you watch a lot of their movies, the Telugu movie industry, they lean more on the action part, right? You see a lot of action. It's usually extremely violent a lot of times, extreme violence, but there's also, a dash of romance in there. But theirs is, I think they just lean more on the action side of things. So, like, if you're into action, you want to go into what they call Tollywood or Telugu movie industry. So that being said, back to our so it's interesting to note that the leads in this movie are men. 2 men. Now, you know why that is even a thing? Because some people who don't get it will be like, well, you must be living under a blissful rock, or over a blissful rock. More like over it. If you are going to tell me so, well, because usually where men are the lead roles is always sexual. But this one, there is nothing sexual about it, right? The men were on a mission. You get? They were on a mission. They had their lives